It is working. First solo episode is going to happen. We've got me, myself, and I. Ugh, I hate the sound of swallowing. Hello, everyone. Welcome back to Unveiled. I am so happy for you to be back here with me for episode 7. It is Adele here. I am doing the very first solo episode of Unveiled. My partner in crime, Jessica, is still at Allie's wedding. It was this weekend. I feel like you guys have been on this journey of Allie's wedding with us. We obviously did her bachelorette party, and then we had the wedding this weekend. Jess is helping with the aftermath of the wedding, cleaning up / I think maybe she's just recovering from it. It was so beautiful. Allie looked exceptional in her TMB dress, and she wore a cape, and she had beautiful accessories from TMB. Honestly, the whole thing was like 10 out of 10. It was, the only way I can describe it is that it was like adult camp, if that makes sense. She'd rented out a resort in Bancroft, and everybody like had their own cabin, and there was like water games, and it was a great time. There was like bonfires and a welcome party, and it was such a cool venue because it wasn't like everybody could just be wherever they wanted to be and do their thing, and we were all there to celebrate Allie. We basically took up the entire resort. I think actually we did take up the entire resort. It was only the wedding people. So it was so much fun. I don't know how it happened, but I think I want to blame Shelby. You guys have heard from Shelby on the podcast, so I'm just going to throw her under the bus and say it was her, and she's probably going to come at me and say that it wasn't her. But for some reason, we all thought that it was like a nudist resort. Like Shelby or somebody started this, and then it just took off. And we went for breakfast the one day, and Sarah Goslin, our director of operations, was like, guys, nowhere does it say it's a nudist resort. It's like an adult only resort. But we're all 100% convinced that it is actually a nudist resort. So it wasn't actually a nudist resort. Actually, I actually 100% cannot confirm or deny that. Were there provocative naked statues hung above the jacuzzi that was beside my bed, to the point that literally I could lay in bed and put my leg in the jacuzzi? Yes, and also yes. Is it a swingers resort? Is this just a story we told ourselves after multiple drinks? Honestly, I think the only way to find out is to legit rent a cabin when it's not your friend's wedding and she hasn't rented it out for everyone, and just go experience it. So stay tuned, because if we do that, you guys are all coming along. Kidding, maybe. I don't know. We'll see. Anyways, it was honestly exceptional. The staff, shout out Ray. Ray was great. The DJs, off nights. Honestly, if you're booking a wedding, if you're planning a wedding, please book them. They are exceptional. The planners in the events, the food, the literal fact that everyone got this little slice of Canadian paradise vacation while celebrating two of the absolute best humans marrying each other was everything my soul needed. Long story short, that is where Jessica is. You are stuck with me. We're going to chat it out for a bit. I just want to take a minute to say thank you to everyone for all of their support on this podcast. Because of you and because of our last episode, we are were officially in the top 100 podcasts in Canada. So yay! I'm going to add clapping sound effects to this so that I don't feel like such a loser doing this alone. That's okay. That's all right. I'm channeling my inner Alexandra Cooper, and we are just going to chat it out. So yeah, thank you for that. We have since dropped off the 100, but I think that's because we do it bi-weekly. So everybody listen to this and get us back in the 100, please. What else is going on at TMB? What else does the creative director have going on here? We are getting ready for New York Bridal Fashion Week, which is the second week of October. Happens every year. Sneaks up on us every year, and market is so much fun. if you follow us on Instagram, you know that it's like our off the chains time. It's like, it's our Super Bowl. It's our, I don't even know. It's such a great time. It's so fun to like meet up with other stockists, see all of our designers, all the new dresses. It's a great time, but I will say it does not come without its like insane pressures. That pressure is 100% me putting it on myself, I'm sure, or some of it, to bring you guys along, but to also like deliver what we're experiencing and what we're seeing in different ways that you haven't seen before. We've been doing this for like 5 or 6 years now, where we take you more in depthly on these trips. Jess and Alicia have been doing market trips for much longer than 5 or 6 years, but I have kind of tagged along for the past 5 or 6 years and kind of tried to really bring you along with that. And I'm just constantly thinking like, how can we reinvent the wheel on this? Like, how can we be more engaging? How can we be doing something that nobody's done before with it? So that comes with a lot of pressure, because I want to make sure that you guys are enjoying it. And it's not like, oh, they're at market again, here we go, like skip through the stories. But yeah, I think like having that pressure to always want to be better is our blessing and our curse here at the Modern Bride. So we do have some fun, exciting things planned that we haven't really done before. I'm also bringing some help for the marketing teams on this trip to New York. So I think it's going to be a really fun mix of some new faces, lots of pretty new dresses. So stay tuned for that. So I kind of wrote myself an agenda here, because if I didn't, we would literally just be talking forever about God knows what, and I need an agenda. One of the things I wanted to talk about while we have our little fireside chat here together is that whole prep before you come shopping. And like we said in past podcasts, especially the last podcast, September is our big month. This is when a lot of brides are shopping for their 2024 weddings, whether they be summer or fall 2024 weddings. We start to creep into like the early 2025 weddings. Like, it's just a huge time for us at the Modern Bride. So we always say, do your research. And what exactly do we mean by that is a question that I would probably ask if I wasn't in the industry or if I was shopping for the dress. And it's a little bit tricky, because in some cases you don't know what you want, or you don't know what you're looking for, or what things cost until you actually start shopping and you start going and trying on dresses and seeing what you like and what price point that is, or what you like and what you don't like, and you'll very quickly realize that there is such a huge range. Like at the Modern Bride, currently we have a range from about $2,500 to $12,000. So there are so many options for so many people, which is great, but that can also be super overwhelming. When I say do your research, in my eyes, it's kind of like, check out these bridal stores that you're looking at. Look at their websites. Is it matching the vibe? Check out the designers they carry. Are those designers something that you think you would be interested in? And if so, 100% book your appointment. If you're somebody where you're like, I know that I have a really tight budget, then DM your bridal store. Ask them what the price point is. If you have your eyes set on one dress or a couple of dresses and you're like, I really hope these are my price point, but I have no way of accessing how much they cost because, say, you haven't been able to find a price or a price range for that designer, send the bridal boutique a DM and be like, hey, my budget is $5,000. Is this within budget? Or just send a photo of the dress and be like, I see that you guys carry this designer. Do you have this dress, or do you have the price that you could share with me? I obviously can only speak for our bridal boutique, but I'm going to answer all of those questions, because that's only going to help qualify you to know that if you decide to shop at the Modern Bride, that you're shopping at the right boutique for you. You don't want to waste anybody's time, and we really don't want to waste your time, and we want to be respectful for all of your needs. But I think that idea of do your research gets a little misconceptionized. That's not a word, but we're gonna roll with it when we talk about that, because I'm not telling you to come in and tell me that you want only a strapless dress or you only want beading, because even though that might be part of your vision, and I'm gonna 100% honor that vision, whatever vision you have, there's also a chance that you come in and try on that fully beaded gown and you feel the weight of it, or you feel how like it looks on your body and you're like, actually, this really isn't what I thought it was going to be. This isn't the vibe that I want to go with anymore. And you need to grant yourself that grace to be like, I'm okay throwing out the idea and quote unquote research that I have done on what I want to actually get what I want now that I have seen things and started trying them on. So I think that that's kind of a really important thing, that when we say do your research, it's not necessarily tell me exactly what you want. It's researching boutiques to make sure that they fit your vibe and that they, they carry the designers that you think you could be interested in, or they have the support system that you know that you're going to need. Some people very much, like, we get a range of people. We get the people that come in and are like, no, I know exactly what I want. This is it. And they leave with that. We get the people that are maybe a bit more intimidated and they're like, oh, I've never done this before, which, newsflash, most people haven't done this before. So it does take some guidance through it, and they want that. Or we get some people that are like, I need to know that my boutique is going to be communicating with me in the sense that I think I'm going to have a lot of questions. So I want to make sure that I have that like personal relationship with my bridal stylist, or with the people that are ordering my dress, or, with the marketing girls that are on Instagram. And I think that kind of finding out what your needs are outside of what the dress looks like is part of that research. And I mean, that's not to also say that if part of your research is being like, I want a sweetheart with beading and an A-line skirt, hit us with it. And also, kind of on that note, like, if you are looking for like a very specific vibe, I think that it's totally in your realm to either email or DM the bridal boutique and be like, hey, this is the vibe of my wedding and this is kind of what I'm looking for, and I'm pretty married to it. So do you think that your boutique has anything that could be like this? And we get that a lot on DM, especially of celebrity weddings, being like, I love this celebrity's wedding dress. Do you guys have anything that could be relatable to that, or anything with certain elements of it to it? And that kind of helps us, again, like I said before, that like qualification of whether it's a good opportunity for you to shop with us. Because again, like it's a very overwhelming experience. So it's not like you want to be shopping at like 8 stores to try and find your vision, because then it gets into like that over shopping thing that we've kind of talked about before, where you just get frustrated and confused about what you want. So yeah, feel free to ask the questions beforehand, because it's really only going to help you out. And that's what we want. And we're going to be 100% honest with you that if the dress you're sending us over email or DM or whatever, we don't have anything like that, I'm going to tell you right away, like, it's a beautiful dress, but unfortunately, like, we don't have anything in our boutique right now that kind of matches that vibe. And I have no problem being like, have you checked out this store? Because this store kind of has that more of that vibe. Or have you checked out this designer? Because I think that that's kind of more so what you're looking for. We obviously will always try our very best to be like, okay, I feel like this could be a variation of it. And we want you to come shopping, obviously, at the Modern Bride, but I'm not going to set you up for failure with that. So that is doing your research. Check mark. The other thing I have on my little agenda here is something that's come up in DMs before, in conversations with my coworkers, lunchtime conversations, coffee conversations, wine conversations, all the conversations. And that is dealing with family drama at weddings. The other day I was talking with Carly, our marketing strategist. She's actually one of the only engaged people. I think she actually is the only engaged person at the Modern Bride on staff right now, which is wild. We went through like a phase of like 6 of us all being engaged together, and then one by one we all got married. And Carly is getting married in 2025, and I just asked her off the cuff, I was like, what are you most concerned about, like, with your wedding, like on the day leading up? Like, what is it a budget? Is it like, I don't know, your dress? I don't know, not finding a dress, like whatever it is. And she said her biggest concern is dealing with family drama. And I think that that is the most unavoidable thing with wedding planning. So I apologize if you were hoping for me to be like giving you some really great advice that it doesn't happen to everybody. No, it absolutely happens to everybody. I think that you could have the most level-headed family, say, and everybody gets along all the time. And then for some reason, when you're planning a wedding, things come out of the woodwork. People come out of the woodwork. Personalities come out of the woodwork. They're like, whoa, I didn't think that this was going to happen, or I didn't think this was your opinion, or I didn't think this was any of your business, quite frankly. But it just comes out, and I think it's completely unavoidable. So as someone that planned a wedding, I had a lot of family drama leading up to my wedding, at my wedding, and post my wedding. So as your friendly older sister who got through it, I am going to give you some advice that I wish I had taken myself. And I think that if somebody gave me this advice during the process of it all, that I would have saved myself some tears. I would have saved myself some sleepless nights, but I also feel like sometimes you're so in it that you can't see, what is that thing? You can't see the forest for the trees, or the trees in the forest. I don't know. You guys know what I'm talking about. So my big advice with dealing with family drama, where I personally think that I went wrong, quote unquote, because again, like we just said, it's completely unavoidable. And on that note, if anybody has ever planned a wedding with no family drama, I need to interview you, because you are from another planet and I would like to know. But my number one thing with dealing with family drama is I had expectations for people, how they were going to show up for me, and how I thought that they were going to show up for me, and how I wanted them to show up for me. And I think that that's a little bit of my type A personality, a little bit of my people pleaser in me. But I think that communicating first off those expectations of how you want people to show up for you is one thing. And I did do that. But sometimes people can't show up for you the way that you need them to or want them to. And allowing that to not infiltrate your day and affect you is very, very hard. But if somebody told me to just not have expectations for how people are going to show up, I think I would have saved myself. So what I mean by that is, if for chance your grandma, we're going to use grandma because I feel like we rip on moms a lot. So let's use grandpa. We'll get grandpa in there. If your expectation was that grandpa was going to show up, he was going to be so excited for you, and he was going to be so happy to be in photos and so happy to walk down the aisle with grandma, and then on the day something's happening, he's just not in a good mood, or he decides that maybe he doesn't want to walk down the aisle anymore, that he doesn't feel comfortable in front of all the people, or that he couldn't be outwardly happy for you the way that you wanted him to be because something else is going on, it's not a reflection of you. It's a reflection of them. And I know it's disheartening, and I'm the girl that cried on her wedding day because of it. Not because of my grandpa. All my grandpas are dead, RIP. But for somebody else, because they weren't able to show up for me the way that I wanted them to. And I let that hit me. I let that disappointment of that person not being outwardly happy for me, not being able to like bury family drama for like one day, please, affect. I think that had I set myself up in my head being like, I've communicated the expectations of that person that I want them to show up for me in a certain way, and I've communicated that. But had I not kind of put it at my be all end all of them supporting me the way that I thought that I wanted them to, or the way that I thought that they should, I would have saved myself. I would have been like, okay, like I want this person to show up for me in this way. But if they don't, I understand that this can be hard, and weddings are hard. They're so emotional. There's so much behind them. They're very loaded events. If they can't, that's okay too. I am going to be okay because I have surrounded myself with my bridesmaids, with my family members, with whoever it is, that your friends, like coworkers, that are going to be that bubble for me. And I'm okay, even though I've communicated how I want that person to show up for me, that sometimes things happen and we can't control other people's emotions. So we went real therapy on you. Therapy with Adele. You guys are gonna be like, this girl better not do another solo episode. But yeah, I just think like it's something that we all deal with when planning weddings. And like I said, even though you think maybe you don't have a dramatic family, like I feel like I, again, have not met somebody where there wasn't some type of family drama related to it. And I think that having a bit of like a, maybe it's just me saying like it's normal, or having a community of people being like it's normal, and you can either let it affect you in a negative way, or you can just let the moment of the day be and kind of come back to that whole thing that it's like you are doing this because you're marrying your life partner, and you're doing this for reasons outside of that one person or that group of people that are kind of not really there for you in the moment. So yeah, that is my little storybook, shutting the book. I'm going to add so many sound effects to this episode. You are not alone. Our DMs are always open. Hit us with it. Don't try not to let it affect you. I know it does. And I know that I am the chick that cried on her wedding day because of it. So you know what? Who am I to talk? But at least you stuck through this episode with me. I appreciate all of you guys. I know next week is going to, or in 2 weeks when we put out the next episode, it's going to be an absolute riot. Jessica will be back from the Nudist resort, and we're going to have a guest, Alicia, and we are going to be talking about market. Everything, the tales of TMB in New York past and what to expect from us coming forward, but a lot of the shenanigans and wild stories that have happened in the past. So thank you for sticking with me on this solo episode. Let's get Unveiled back into the top 100 podcasts in Canada. You guys are absolutely exceptional. I'm so grateful for you. I hope you have the best 2 weeks, and I will be back with my partner in crime in 2 weeks. Bye.